Now, it is definitely, my name is Agnes Wong. I'm from Sharjah, from Malaysia. It's my pleasure to be here this evening. And I'm under tremendous pressure because I believe I am between you and your gala dinner tonight. So without further ado, allow me to do a very quick introduction. The topic that we have today is rather big. Yeah, we talked about technology and world revolutions. So when this topic was actually given to me, I start to ponder how shall be the moderation work. So going through our very distinguished panelists that we have today, and with experts coming from digital assets, coming from our China counterpart regarding China development when it comes to digital assets as well, their definition, etc. And we have representatives from Europe, Paris, who's actually going to also share the experience on the Europe front when it comes to digital assets, when it comes to technology and etc. I think, yeah, it worth the effort for you to stay on for another 1.5 hours. So without further ado, allow me to very quickly introduce my panelists today, and some of which I will allow them to also introduce themselves separately. So we have from Thailand, Dr. Chris Parker, yeah, representing and will be representing National Innovation Agency, and she is the executive director of the agency, and she will be sharing with us about Thailand technology landscape. And it is our honor also to actually have Mr. Wang De from China, a director of a legal firm in China called Chu Zitu Cheng, associate legal firm, and he will be sharing with us on digital economy and data ownership. And not forgetting, from as far as from Europe, Mr. Paris Papakristodou. I hope I got your surname right. Okay, and he will be sharing with us about technology and the legal profession, whether it's our friend or it's our foe. And your local talent, could Jirayu, have I got it right? I believe media called you Top. Yeah, Mr. Top, who will be sharing with us on ecosystem and digital assets. Ladies and gentlemen, because technology is a very a very big topic. So today I would like to focus my points very much towards digital assets, and let's have the conversation from then on. So allow me to welcome Dr. Chris Parker to firstly share your presentation.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to be the panel today. Actually, when I link on the innovation about the landscape in Thailand, I prepare some slides for you to see about our ecosystem and including how we move forward to be the innovation nation. Could you please show me the slide, please? Thank you very much. Actually, the National Innovation Agency is going to be one of the organizations under the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research, and Innovation. You might be wonder why the science technology is still be the same as the higher education. We merged two groups together between the higher education, science, and research in 5 years ago. The reason for merging two groups together because we believe that the young entrepreneur innovation can start from the higher education. University, educational, startup, starting from the school is really important. That's why we merge together. But the job of the National Innovation Agency, we are the public organization. Almost, we just have 15th anniversary on the September 2nd. It's been a few weeks ago. But our job is to create the ecosystem for innovation. The national policy on innovation and how to support the entrepreneurship development, including the startup, SME, and the social enterprise. We have the mission to promote them in area of funding and financial support to their project. We aim our organization as the focal conductor because when we're talking about innovation, when we're talking about technology, it means that we're not doing alone. We're doing between public and private sector, including the lawyer and the legal also. Many people say innovation can do very good in the area that they have the law and legislation that are available and also support the startup and technology. And yesterday, the Global Innovation Index, they're ranking about the innovation ecosystem and index in every year. And yesterday is going to be the first time that Thailand hit the best ranking after maybe more than 30 years. So Thailand right now is the ranking 41 in the Global Innovation Index. In the Asia, the number one in Asia is going to be Singapore. They moved from the number 5th to number 4th. Number one in the world still be Switzerland, the second one is Sweden, and the third one will be US, and the fourth one will be Singapore. And looking on the China is the rank number 11, but South Korea is the number 6. Malaysia, your country, is the 33. It means move up 3 ranking. Thailand, we move up second to the 41. It means that innovation is very important for the economic impact. That's why it's our job to do about aligning with the industry, the public and private sector, to do about policy and how to support the innovation ecosystem. You will saw many words that our mechanism is very easy to remember. We're talking about 4G, groom, grant, growth, and global. The first one, the grooming, starting from university, we have Startup Thailand League with the 48 universities around Thailand to have the business idea, the pitching for the university level. And after that, if they register to be the legal entity, for example, startup and SME, we can support them in terms of financial support. We call granting scheme. And we support them in area of growth in 2 areas. The one is growth in area of the market. And the second one, growth in area of investment. Startup get investment from VC, CVC, but the SME get investment from the bank. That's why I link between the landscape of the financial support between government and the banking and the private sector as well. But the last one, but it's really important, we're talking about the global. Right now, we're talking about how to expand the product and the service from Thailand to be in the global. I think the global recognition of the innovative product and service is really important. I would like the world to know that Thailand not only the good place for the traveling, for the tourism, for the food, but I want the Thailand to know as the creative and innovative country as well in the world. That's why we try to push a lot of efforts to do this project also. Let me clarify more. When we're talking about the landscape of the industry and service for the future, I believe that they have 5 sectors of the industry that Thailand focus right now, and they also align with the government and also with the Prime Minister Pathongthan initiative also. The first one, we're talking about the potential of the food and farming. They can call agriculture and the food technology. You come to Thailand already, you know how wonderful the food is, but how is the innovative in food, alternative food, functional food, also very important. And also the agriculture in Thailand, I think more than 70% of the population are the farmer. But we can use the technology to help them in terms of the productivity. For example, we got the budget, also the funding and granting from the ADB, how to grow the rice with low carbon emission. That one, we already proved that the technology can help to grow the rice with the low carbon. We also bring the startup to join this project and how to use the technology to prove that the technology can help and make the world so green better than before. And the second one, we're focusing on the healthcare and the medical. The reason during the COVID-19, if you're looking on the mapping and the results, I think Thailand handle and tackle with really well with the healthcare business and also the healthcare of the government. It means the ratio and also how we can improve. We have a lot of the researchers from university and also the hospital to do about initiative in the healthcare and also the medical and also the equipment. And the third one that I like when you're talking about the carbon neutrality, we're talking about the green technology, but right now we're talking about the climate tech. It's going to be really important. Maybe the one of the area that our organization is focused, how to use the technology, particularly green energy, and also the zero emission. That will be one part. And the first one, we're talking about the financing and transaction that will be given to the top when we're talking about the finance and the fintech. Because the fintech will be the first wave of the startup ecosystem in Thailand. We done very good with the fintech and also e-commerce platform. And the last one, talking about mobility and the logistics, is really important as well. Let me focus more a little bit on the food and farming. We were talking about the biotechnology. It's going to be starting from the how to select the breeding of the plant that will be good for our community. That's very important. Not only for the plant variety that we have to select, but we're talking about the way how to grow the plant. Believe me or not, agriculture also have a lot of high CO2 emission. It's from the fertilizer. It's from the way how to use it. That's why we have to do like the precise farming and also the supply chain from farm to table, and also how we can get the food production and the food for the future for the world. Because if you are looking on the alternative protein right now, when you're talking about one cow, if you want to have one steak, maybe the rib-eye steak, that high value. They use a lot of water, they use a lot of resource to grow the cow and to be protein on the table. But if you're looking on the alternative protein, the first one will be the cricket. It's small creature, but they have a lot of high protein. With that technology, they can transform them to have more protein, and they can use for the resource that we shortage sometimes. That one technology can help about the food for the future and the food production. And the next one, when we're talking about healthcare medicine, is going to be talking about technology, gene therapy, and also maybe the preventive healthcare product. But right now, you can check how about your status. Even though if you have the really expensive watch, for example, Patek Philippe, but you cannot calculate the heart rate and about oxygen in your body. But right now, many people use a smartwatch because you want to check about your health status every day. That can be about the preventive healthcare system that can be help you to check whether you have the high blood pressure, you have high stress, you have low oxygen in your blood. That will help you to take care of yourself before you got any heart attack or any issue. And also right now use a lot of AI for the determination of the health. For example, during the COVID-19, we have one of the startups. They use the AI technology to help the doctor to pre-scan on the X-ray of the lung, whether your lung is going to be damaged, how many percentage. They will help a doctor a lot in the area of when they have to see a lot of the screening and screening. That one can help and reduce the time. Let me move to the energy and environment. This is going to be the really huge issue as Kun Pongthep has mentioned about the energy and solar. Solar cell will be one of the area that we use for the clean energy. Right now we're talking about the EV electric vehicle. I think they transform the industry in Thailand already because before that most of the cars we use oil and petrol. But right now we are support and promote a lot of the EV electric vehicle industry in Thailand. But on the other hand, we have to move some of the SME that they produce the equipment because when they transform from the oil to the EV car, around 60% of the tool and equipment they will not use anymore. It means that we have to transform industry. How we're going to do upskill, skill them from the previous industry to the next level of industry will be our job also. And the zero carbon and also the climate tech will be one area that we promote. For the financial, I will not talking much about the finance, but we're talking about the service sector, digital technology, and also about security and privacy, and also cyber resilience. And the last one, mobility. That's why I want to link between EV and the climate tech and transportation and logistics. I think that one is really important also because we know that in Thailand right now, I think the logistic tech is really important and how you can do the supply chain management and how can you reduce the cost and how you can reach very fast with the speed. That's why we come up with the 4 accelerator program. For the space we do one of the accelerator program we do almost 6 years already. That one we have international. We open for the startup foreigner also. This one we collaborate with the Mahidol University, also Thai Union, the big tuna can in the world, and also Deloitte, Thai Bev, Nestle, Lotte. We join this project together. And last one will be abroad. We'll be talking about agricultural, but I just start through accelerator program. We call the climate tech and the health tech that will start in Thailand to promote about startup ecosystem and how to get and grow in the future. And we have the mechanism for granting. This one, unfortunately, right now is still open only for the Thai legal entity. It can be SME, startup, and so on to do the granting scheme. It can be 1.5 million baht up to 5 million baht. And for corporate co-funding, it's only from the startup that we can support up to 10 million baht. Let me move more a little bit. I will end with this slide about our ecosystem support for the foreigners. If your client is a startup and would love to landing in Thailand, we have the Global Startup Hub Service that can help you in terms of advice, legal, network, and including the smart visa. That will be the area that we can certify startup to get the smart visa to do the business in Thailand. We also help them in terms of the networking and the marketplace, the business in Thailand. I will end my round with 15 years of MBA and leading Thailand to innovation nation. It can be our briefing about Thailand landscape of innovation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chris Parker, on your presentations. It's very enlightening and definitely congratulations for being ranked 41 in Global Innovation Index. I think that is something for developing countries, something that we really, really need to actually have proud on. I just couldn't help but thinking about some of this other information that I have in my head, also to actually create some relevancy to everyone as well. I think in healthcare, innovation has to come in, right? Life of human need to be expanded. Health and wealth is something that intertwined with each other right now. If we're talking about innovation, if I'm not mistaken, in China, their innovation when it comes to their health, right? China being such a big country, right? In order to do an operation, right? Instead of moving the equipment from one hospital to another, what they do is they use their robotic arm and AI and they control it at one location by way of their 5G interconnectivity, and the doctors is actually not at the same theater room. So, but using a robotic arm to actually power it, that is the importance of innovation. I think that really is something that lengthens life and no matter which part, whether you're staying in villages, Thailand has a lot of small villages, there will be some important area of innovations that maybe the startup can also look into. Yeah, so there are so many things, you know, when just now we talked about the EV car, right? And if I saw a cartoon, I'm not sure whether you guys have seen this before. I saw a cartoon in Malaysia whereby it actually says that that particular cartoon is trying to be sarcastic. So it says that the EV battery are still plugged into a power generator that's generating by diesel. And hence, we are still polluting the world, right? So I think EV innovation right now, it's moving into a situation whereby the substations, how can the substation be powered by wind or solar so that we move out and we go green? So there are so many technologies that we need to imbue into whatever and how we live our life today, so that we can improve the world. Maldives is looking into how to make an appeal to the World Court to actually say that if in 20 years' time, due to global warming, that it's going to have a raise in the water level, the ocean water level, whereby part of its islands are going to go underwater, and how can they prevent those land that is actually underwater remaining dells instead of become part of the international water territory? Right, so there are so many things that we need to do when it comes to technology in every part of the industry, be it tourism or otherwise. So I think I congratulate Thailand by having this particular division, under your ministry to power it and to really move innovation into every sectors of business. So thank you very much for your sharing just now. So allow us to now go to Greater China, for Mr. Wang to do his sharing about digital economy in the progress of digital economy in China. Now, Mr. Wang will need to deliver his presentation in Mandarin, but he has actually presented his slides in English. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do read the slides. Yes, for those who have difficulty in understanding Mandarin. Mr. Wang, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends, good afternoon. 今天呢，我在这里跟大家一起来分享中国数字经济状况和中国数据前署探索这两个问题。下面呢，我分开两部分来讲。第一部分，中国数字经济的状况。当然，有关数字经济是在1988年美国商务部发布的浮现中的数字经济这份文件上第一次提出数字经济这个概念。但那个时候，数字经济这个概念还停留在电子商务这个阶段。美国认为电子商务就是数字经济。那么在中国来说，中国第一次提出数字经济是在2017年，中国国务院总理李克强在政府工作报告当中提出中国的数字经济。那个时候，中国认为互联网加就是数字经济，互联网加金融加服务等等就是数字经济。这是2017年中国的理解。那么到2022年，中国国务院发布了“十四五”数字经济发展规划，从官方层面全面阐述了中国对数字经济的理解。这个理解呢，就是讲中国呢是把数字经济作为是一个社会概念、社会的概念来理解的。数字经济是继农业经济、工业经济之后的新的经济形态，它是以数据资源为关键要素，以现代信息网络为载体，以信息通信技术结合应用，全要素数字化转型为推动力，促进公平和效率更加统一的新的经济形态。所以中国理解数字经济有4个方面，一个数字产业化，就是说数字技术产业化，比如说云计算、云平台，就 cloud， 这些中国认为要发展成一个产业，这是一个。第二一个 就是传统产业的数字化，就包括农业、工业、服务业的数字化。第三个呢，就是数据要素价值化，发掘数据要素的价值。第四一个，就政府治理、社会治理的数字化。政府提出要一站式解决社会问题、管理问题。这个以上四个呢，就是中国理解的数字经济的四个概念。那中国的这个理解是不是自己独创的一套呢？中国的理解呢，是参考了经合组织以及美国经济分析局关于数字经济的分类方法，进行两者的共性原则，建立了这个有国际可比性的经济分析分类。所以中国不是自己独创一套数字经济以及它的体系，中国的数据经济分类是具有国际可比性的。那接下来呢，我跟大家介绍一下中国数字经济发展的情况。中国数字经济在2016年占经济总量呢是31.3万亿，占 GDP 的总量是34.8。到2023年，中国数字经济的总量是53.9万亿，占 GDP 的比例是42.8%。这是中国数字经济近5年来的发展状况。接下来呢，我想跟大家汇报一下中国在数据成熟方面的探索。第一个方面呢，中国呢就将数据权属作为是规定在物权和知识产权等传统权益以外的新型权益。中国民法典呢，从法律层面进行了规定，它区别于传统的民法权益。那么在考虑到数据权属区别于传统的民法的权属，那么就考虑到在不同的来源和环节，中国提出将数据权属进行分制，分成3种权属。一种呢叫数据资源持有权，第二种是数据加工使用权，第三，数据产品经营权。这方面呢，就中国国务院在2022年12月份发布了关于构建数据基础制度，更好发挥数据促进作用的意见，进行上述3种的权属分制的设计。那么在进行这种权属设计的顶层设置3种之后呢，在中国呢实践界呢也进行了数据权属的探索。这种探索呢有2种模式、4种路径。 这是第一种模式。第一种模式呢，就是将数据归到知识产权项下，作为是数据知识产权，由中国知识产权局统一安排，各地知识产权管理机构制定登记办法，发证予以公示。像这个数据知识产权登记证，就是由数据知识产权管理中心来发出。但是呢，在知识产权权属登记证的效力方面呢，中国法院呢有一个判，6月份，北京知识产权有个判决，认为知识产权登记证没有权属的宣示效力，它只起到证据的证明作用，证实权利人在取得数据权益的时候，或者在这个过程当中，它是合法，只起到证据的作用，而不能起到一种权属证明的作用。这个呢，就区别于传统的权属证明。那么第二个模式呢，就是数据要素单独登记公示。这个呢有3种路径，有3个路径。这个呢3个路径当中，总的排在第2，就是公共数据管理机构对于管理下的数据资源及其产品予以登记。它针对的呢是公共数据，所以呢，因为它的范围和登记规则不产生对外的公示效力，也就是说，除了它范围管理下的数据权属，它对外不产生一个公示的效力，这是第2种。我们看看这种呢，它发的证就是由省一级的政务数据管理局它发布的。第3种路径呢，就是在数据交易所对进入数据交易所的数据进行登记，予以权属确认。但是呢，也是因为它的范围只对进入交易所交易的数据予以登记和公示，所以它的效力也只给予交易所的范围以及准备参与交易所的交易的这个范围，所以它的效力也是有限的，所以不产生对外公示的权益效力。这个就是数据交易所的。那么第4个路径就是中国的公证处对数据资源进行公证，然后呢发给数据资源登记证和产品使用证。大家请看，这个是公证处发出的，那这个呢就有公证效力。以上呢就是中国 在数据签署方面的探索。中国呢，在探索方面呢，不仅在于数据签署登记，还在推动数据资产登记计入会计报表。在2023年9月份，中国资产评估协会发布了数据资产评估指导意见。中国财政部2023年12月份发表了数据资产计入会计报表的暂行规定，就是允许企业将数据资产计入会计报表。那么到2024年8月31号止，中国的 A 股上市公司有33家半年报表披露了数据资产，总值5.05亿人民币。所以总的来说呢，中国认为数据作为是新型的生产要素，它区别于传统的资产独占、排他和使用减损的特征，可以共享和无限复制。这个是数据资产的特征，它可以共享和无限复制。因此，传统民法基于独占、排他的理论已经无法适应，所以中国学术界和政府提出数据签署分治理论，并开始实践，试图更好地发挥数据要素的作用。这个是有益的探索。相信呢，这个能够充分地发挥数据要素的作用，保护各环节参与和各方的利益，有利于数据安全、快捷、高效的流通，促进数据经济的发展，为全社会带来福祉。以上就是我的分享，谢谢。
谢谢王总。Now I'll do my best to do my summary. As I'm not a lawyer, so I'll do the part that I understand. So if there's anything to actually add on by our 刘律师, then if there is anything, then we will then. Otherwise, I'll do the best I can. So basically, China has gone through their revolutions in the definition of digital economy. It started in 1988, whereby digital economy to them actually means nothing but e-commerce, to 21/7, whereby it's an internet plus era, and things are actually being evolved into it, and until 2022, whereby they think that digital economy is actually the economy that's post-industrialization for China. So under the post-industrialization, what do they actually mean under this new economy? So what they have been thinking about is their four sectors. One of it, I missed up three. One is they wanted to make their products and services as digital as possible. So that is actually one of the things that they are pushing forward. Second thing, they move their government agencies and operational of the government from normal government administration to e-government administrations. So there is a lot of things that they have systemized and they standardized, and I would believe they would have simplified a lot of process in between. And they looked into modernizing their own economy. China being a very heavy industrial, or should I say the global supplier, of the entire world. We all think that China is creditors in every single country's balance sheets because they have a lot of supplies that's coming up. Everything does actually have something called made in China, including some of the semiconductors that's sitting in your book. But they are pushing themselves forward as well. So this definition that it evolved from one state to another is still very much in the same definition of the development of what OECD has defined digital economy. So they do not actually deviate from the definitions. Okay, and on top of that, when it comes to digital economy, bond will be a lot of intellectual property and intellectual assets. From the intellectual assets, they are seeing a development whereby they are redefined intellectual assets or intellectual property into three sections, if I understand it correctly, which is the split ownership, right, into the holding rights as well as processing rights, meaning the rights for you to use it, from managing right. So the rights of the intellectual properties has actually evolved and they're sectored into three. So from these three differences, meaning to say I may be the IP owner, but I may have subbed this particular ownership or this formula or this ingredient to someone else to use and manufacture. And then that entire business product may actually be managed and done by someone else. So there are three rights that's coming from the intellectual property sector. So which is interesting. And recently in 2023, December, they're starting to look into a situation whereby you could get a certifications on your IP rights, and it is allowed to book into the book as an assets sitting in the book. So China at the moment, they move into a sector whereby the resources, the inventions can actually have a price tag to it and recorded in the accounts. And they are A grade listed company because they have different classes. For the A grades, there are total of 33 listed company has done so by going through their, their intellectual assets and value them up to 505 million rand and has been recorded in their respective book. So those are the bits that I picked up. Unfortunately, the legal part of it, I will need the lawyers to read the slides and understand it separately. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Wang, yeah, for your presentation. Now, allow us to move our focus to Europe, yeah, from Mr. Karris, to share the Europe's experience when it comes to technology, digital assets, and more.
I'd rather do this standing up so that I'm brief, so that we can all get to dinner. First of all, I'd like to thank a little bit about me. I'm a court lawyer. I'm a litigator. So I want to thank His Excellency for being here. Having a judge opposite me makes me feel right at home. Basically, the topic of my discussion was technology, friend or foe. So being a litigator, I'm used to being a bit of a cynic. We see where things go wrong. We don't do the constructive stuff. We do the fighting stuff. So normally I would have to be in the skeptic sort of section of things. At the same time, I'm very technology oriented myself. I love it. I think it's an amazing tool, and it's basically an equalizer. So it democratizes information, access to information. It helps level the playing field. It helps give opportunities to a lot of people that would not normally have this opportunity. So technology, friend or foe? Well, there's a lot of arguments for both sides of the argument. I mean, we've all heard about the horror stories. There's, for example, crypto is, of course, relevant to this panel and to this conference. Everyone must have heard about the crypto queen. Everyone is saying, so she got some money, she ran away, no one knows how to find her. And it's very easy to say, well, that's technology's fault. But at the same time, it really isn't. So it's just a classic sort of Ponzi scheme being facilitated by technology, but at the end of the day, it's all about the social construction of things. So technology, as with everything, is a tool. It's up to us to make the most of it. And I think this is the push now. There's going to be a lot of new things coming to the table, And there will be voices saying that technology needs to be suppressed because of all the things that can go wrong with it. But as with everything, it's an iterative thing. So we need to keep an open mind and just make sure we make the best of it. As I said, I was gonna take longer. I'm gonna keep this very short. I think it's best to go to Q&A. So that's all I had to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I like that question. Technology needs to be suppressed. What do you think? Maybe start directly from you. Answer your own questions.
Are we doing Q&A already?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, definitely not. I mean, that's kind of the takeaway that I was trying to make. Because it's very easy to accuse the tool. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a knife, in the hands of a surgeon, it's something that saves lives. In the hands of a killer, it's something that takes lives away. So it's what you make of it, as with everything.
I think in many ways, it's difficult to stop the development of technology in whatever forms and sizes, right? Our kids, I was sharing this yesterday for me as well. Our kids, it's going to speak through technology tools to you, right? And there will be so many things that have to be done, right, for them to be like seeing eye to eye with you. So that is a new environment that we are in. So how do we adapt, change, and progress and move forward? So I think does technology need to be suppressed? I think, yeah, this is a very, very good question. Now, moving from technology, I would like to actually come to our VVIP today. Yeah, Mr. Top. Yeah, Kun Top. Yeah, is that how I should address you? Yeah, okay. So I would like you to maybe, for the benefit of our audience, because we do actually have a lot of delegates that actually fly in from overseas. Yeah, maybe you could actually do a bit of rundown about the crypto space that you are currently involved in and etc. Yeah, over to you.
Sure. สวัสดีครับ สวัสดีทุกท่านนะครับ First of all, I would like to thank ASEAN Legal Alliances for inviting me to be one of the panelists today, and also thank you for choosing Thailand as a host for the summit this year. I hope you guys, those who flew all the way here, I hope you guys spend a few more days, down south. We have very nice beaches up north, very nice mountains. Thailand has a lot to offer. Let me give you a quick introduction about myself. My name is Top. I am the founder and group CEO of BitCup. We are the largest blockchain digital asset ecosystem in this country. I've been in this space for 11 years now. I've been one of the very first Bitcoin advocates in Thailand, in this country. Founded the first Bitcoin company back in 2013, 11 years ago, when nobody understood what Bitcoin was. And we eventually sold the first startup to Gojek for one of the biggest deal in this region, startup exit. And I founded BitCup in early 2018. And we were the first to receive a proper digital asset exchange license from the Thai SEC. One of the first in the world, actually. And the company has been growing at 1,000% every year. And it's been roughly 6 years and 7 months now. BitCup has been around for 6 years and 7 months. We have 5 companies under our group, stemming from a digital asset exchange platform, a fully regulated digital asset exchange platform, where we control roughly about 95% market share in this country. We have about $3 billion of customers' deposits on our platform. And we were the most visited website in the country in 2021. And we became the most profitable startup ever in the Thai startup history. The second company is creating a national blockchain foundation called BitCup Chain. And we have our own national blockchain for the country with Cupcoin as its operating system. We have NFT marketplace. We have Bitcup Next, e-wallet, crypto wallet as a service. We have Bitcup Academy, which is an open education platform as our third company. We have Bitcup Ventures to invest in other startups. We have Bitcup Moonshot to push forward on the AI initiatives for this country. Overall, we have roughly 1,000 employees here in Thailand. And we have been, the most profitable and the fastest growing startup ever in the Thai startup history. But let me give you a quick background about the Thailand digital asset ecosystem. Since I've been in this space for 11 years now. Back in the early days in 2013, most of the people here and in most places actually thought Bitcoin was a Ponzi scheme. Right? Drug money, toy money, don't go anywhere near it. And there were no regulations in place. There's a big misconception on the Bitcoin technology. Just like what you were saying earlier about technology is neutral, right? You don't put color in it, right? You don't put, whether you don't classify technology as white or black, right? It's in the hands of, a surgeon or in the hand of a thief, right? So Bitcoin is the same thing. It's a neutral technology, and it's very new. Nobody understood what it was. And there were no regulations. There were a lot of misconception. There were no licenses in place. And in 2015 and 16, people started to say that blockchain will change the world, but Bitcoin don't go anywhere near it, right? Even though it's the same technology, but then we had to rebrand the company. Right? Everywhere I go, I had to say we are not a Bitcoin company, we are a blockchain company. It was a branding perception because nobody really understood what this technology was. And in quarter 3 of 2017, that's when Japan announced Bitcoin is legal. You can pay for stuff at big camera with cryptocurrency legally in Japan. And that's when the Bitcoin price started to rise from $600 to $20,000 in 2017, the second boom, right? And that's when the Minister of Finance of Thailand ordered the Thai SEC to come in and regulate the space. But then, nobody really understood this technology. So the SEC has been pushing this responsibility to the Bank of Thailand. The Bank of Thailand has been pushing this responsibility to the SEC. But then at the end, the SEC became the regulator here for the digital asset space. And we were the first to launch a proper digital asset exchange license in early 2018. Even if you look at the world globally today, even for Coinbase, the biggest regulated digital asset exchange in the world, they haven't properly got a digital asset exchange license yet. Right? They have a payment license, they have a remittance license, they have an e-wallet license, but they don't have a proper digital asset exchange license. Thailand has been the first country to issue a proper direct, license related to this particular industry, right, into early 2018. I would say we are so under the radar as a country. We're so advanced in terms of digital asset regulations. Apart from being the first to launch the license here, Thailand also creates the first, even the definition of different types of tokens. Even in the US, people are still debating whether Ethereum is classified as, securities or not, right? For Thailand, we have been very clear from day one. There are 3 types of definitions of different types of tokens, right? We have cryptocurrency as one type. We have investment token as another type. Right? We have utility token as another type, right? The definition has been very stable, very clear from day one. And last year, we were the first to list real estate-backed token. Right? My company has been working for more than a year with SCBX, TokenX, which is a subsidiary of a bank, an ICO portal company. and with Origin Group, which is the top 5 real estate firm here in Thailand, to list the first real estate-backed, fully regulated token here in Thailand, whereas the rest of the world is still not moving as fast as Thailand yet. So overall, I would say that digital asset space in Thailand is very advanced, but we are still under the radar, right? The regulation has been very stable, compared to the US and the rest of the world. And because of a stable regulation, this gives us an extra edge, right? Right now, BigCup has become the largest digital asset player in the ASEAN region. We are bigger than Indodax, of number 1 of Indonesia. We are bigger than CoinCH, number 1 of the Philippines. Right? We are bigger than CoinHeco, number 1 of Singapore. Luno from Malaysia. We have become the biggest in ASEAN now because of a stable regulation and because of the advancement in regulation that has been taking place over the past 6 years in this country.
Wow, that's very impressive to know. Yeah, that's very impressive to know. Can I actually have the slide on for me? Yeah, the map that I actually post to the event. Okay, so basically, may I ask, so the exchange license, is it only applicable to certain, how do you call, products that can actually list on it, or every part of the world, anyone actually have a token that can actually list on your exchange? I mean, how does the Thailand exchange license work?
Sure. So we have a listing rule, right? We co-create a listing rule with the Thai SEC. We created a framework, right? And for every token that will be listed on our exchange, they must pass all these different criteria.
Right.
first.
So there's a checklist for them to go through. Right, right.
And we do a renewal, basis, ongoing renewal, due diligence basis on different projects to make sure that we really list quality products on our exchange in this country. And to even underwrite or create a new token locally here in Thailand, we have to do it via another entity. We call this an ICO portal license, which is a license by the Thai SEC.
Right.
They have the authority, they have the license to operate, to underwrite new coin for Thailand.
Right, right. That is very interesting. I think for the authority to also take a look at what I actually have behind me, you realize that the cryptocurrency ownerships all over the world, these are the various percentages. So on the onset, that not many exchanges that is well publicized, right? Thailand can actually use this to very much capitalize everyone back into the world, right? So I think Top said the real important thing about it's being under-promoted maybe, it's not being exposed on what Thailand has already done so far. Your infrastructure, your backbone infrastructure of this space, if it is actually being marketed out, you will actually see an exclusive outcome, with your economical benefits and returns coming back. So you are right. Malaysia, we always do not want it to be the first when it comes to things like this. We wanted to have other people start out first. So good that Thailand was actually in the picture. And I think for governments, everyone has their different initiative as well. Some wanted to regulate it because they wanted to collect taxes, merely for that. Some wanted to promote and grow that particular ecosystem. So every country has different objectives, governments have different objectives. So with such a huge penetration in Thailand, do you think, in your view, cryptocurrency would eventually replace the traditional fiat currency?
Sure. So if you study the evolution of monetary history, money changes every 50 years, right? Did you know that we used to use shell as money?
Okay, not during my time. I'm not sure about you. Do you live long enough? Yes, definitely. That's a history.
We used to use Yellowstone, gold.
Yes.
As a currency, as a medium of exchange, back when the British Empire used to rule the world, right? And then in 1929, there was this Great Depression that happened because of the deflationary pressure of gold, right? And then during the Bretton Woods system, 1945, we shifted to the U.S. dollars as a medium of exchange, still with gold backing 1-to-1. And then in 1971, that's when the Bretton Woods, that's when the post-Bretton Woods system occurs. That's when we call this the Nixon shock, right? In economics, Nixon shock. That's when the U.S. lifted the U.S. dollars away from depegged from gold. Money changes every 50 years. So people used to trust in Yellowstone, like gold. People used to trust in their own government. In the future, we will be trusting the logic of mathematics. So long as 1 + 1 = 2, nobody can cheat the system. Right? And that is what cryptocurrency is offering. Have you heard of this quote that eventually in virtually every industry, software is eating up the world?
Software is eating up the world.
Yes. So
Yes.
eventually, algorithms, software would be automating almost everything, including money. Right? So, and also if you look at another angle from the ESG net zero initiatives, right? Since we are talking about the sustainability earlier today. If you read the latest books from Bill Gates, right? He said that we have to, the book is called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. Right? He said we have to remember 2 numbers, right? 52 and 0. 52, that's the 52 billion tons of greenhouse gas emission that we are emitting each year. And 0 is net zero. And he said that there's no planet B, right? We have to reach 0. Otherwise, we have to go and live with Elon Musk, in Mars. So there's no planet B. Right? And many people are blaming the energy sector for destroying the world. But if you look at the numbers, the fossil fuel only accounts for 26% of the 52 billion tons of greenhouse gas emission, 1/4 of the emission per year. People forgot to look at the clothes we wear, the food we eat, the transportation we take, the buildings, the cement. Every industry is destroying the world. And in order to move from 52 to 0, every industry would have to adjust, adapt, change the way they produce things, including the financial sector. If we are still gonna keep using paper money going forward, are we gonna keep cutting down trees? How are we gonna reach net zero if we're gonna keep destroying trees, right, to turn them into paper money? In some countries like Australia or New Zealand, they're using plastic as money. That's even worse, right? And we have to destroy old money every year, reprint new money every year. There's no way that we're going to move from 52 to 0 if the financial sector is still using paper money, right? So there are many arguments and many data points pointing towards the same conclusion that in the future, we're moving towards digital currency.
Well, interesting that you're putting it that way. But I think China may not agree with you because they are into e-wallet. They have not been seeing paper money for some time. Okay. But there is one very important thing that I would like to still continue talking about this particular topic is how do you think of its penetration still? Yeah, when every single government having these stakeholder rights onto their own currency, right? So the decentralization process, the decentralized finance process, it's going to be so painful for any country to let go. This morning, I've been introduced to a new term called geopolitics, right? So while people are starting to talk about global citizenship, meaning, we do not need to actually be so inclined over that particular identity. And hence, currently, we have various foreign currencies that currencies are running, that nations, it's packed with nations' pride, right? How would that sink in with crypto penetration to replace fiat currency as a whole?
I think we have to separate the layers, the protocol layer and the application layer. Right? We should not mix the two together. Right? Cryptocurrencies are purely just internet protocols and open source internet protocols with limited numbers. I think the best analogy to explain this is to look back at the internet sector, internet space, 20 years ago, before the arrival of the internet. Most of the information sharing sector were operated in a closed system, closed and regulated and controlled space. Right? Television channel, radio channel, post office, traditional telegram. Right? Government used to be able to regulate all of the information sharing sector channels that enter internet. Internet democratizes information sharing. It's an open system. There's this emerging of TCP/IP protocol that allows us to use Skype, Zoom today. We can communicate in a frictionless, constant manner, and for free.
Thanks for COVID. Thanks for COVID. Yeah, everyone believes in e-meeting now.
Right. We have SMTP protocol to allows us to email each other in the same manner. Right. Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo Mail are built on top of the SMTP protocol. Right. And communication used to be very expensive and exclusive. We used to pay, $1, 30 baht, 60 baht per minute to get one international phone call over to another country. And only the richest of the world can afford to pay. And the rest being excluded from the economy, right, from the information sharing sector. And most of the information were in a physical format. If you remember, we used to have CDs, DVDs in a physical format, right? Blockbusters. Right?
Yes.
And after the arrival of the internet, anything that can be digitized has already been digitized. All kinds of information has been digitized. And the government lost control of information sharing sector. Right? They lost their control on the protocol layer because it's an open source. Anyone can build their application on top of TCP/IP, SMTP, SSM, HTTPS protocol. Right? But then the government has been regulating instead on the application layer. They're regulating Facebook now, right? Facebook uses TCP/IP. Right? They're regulating Google now. Google uses SMTP protocol, right? But bad actors, they can build their own application on TCP/IP without, government censorship. But the majority of the masses, they're still using a humanized app, right? Facebook, easy to use. Zoom, easy to use. They have been humanizing TCP/IP protocol. A common man walking on the street, they would have no idea that they're using TCP/IP, right, to connect to each other. And if you look at the value exchange, the value sharing sector, fast forward 20 years to today, most of the value are still in a physical format. Right? If you look at gold, it's still in a Yellowstone format. And if you look at deeds, paper deeds, money, it's still paper-based. Right? Anything that has value are still in a physical format. But with the blockchain technology, right, it does the opposite of what the internet does. Right? It creates digital scarcity. Internet creates digital abundance. Right? The internet has the ability to digitize information because of its digital abundance ability. Blockchain will be able to digitize or tokenize value because of its digital scarcity property. So going forward, anything that can be tokenized will be tokenized. All kinds of value would be tokenized. Currency is just a subset of digital assets, right? We are talking about tokenizing gold in the future. We can tokenize a square meter of this room, so people can co-own this room together and transfer, trade it in a frictionless manner. We're talking about carbon credit. We can tokenize carbon credit, electricity units, right? Anything that has value will be tokenized going forward. And if you look at the regulated channels today versus the future, right? Today, the government can regulate banks as one channel. Right? When you want to take loan, you go to the bank. When you want to transfer money overseas, you go to Western Union. Right? When you want to exchange your money, you go to money exchanger, super rich here in Thailand. When you want to raise funds, you go to the Thai Stock Exchange as another, different channels or regulated channel, right? Which is very similar to the internet space. Before the arrival of the internet, the information sharing space. Radio was one communication channel, TV was another channel, traditional telegram, post office, there were different channels. And after the internet, we have this application layer emerging that are building on top of open source protocols like Facebook. Right? With Facebook, it is a universal channel. We can have digital radio on Facebook, a podcast. We can have digital television on Facebook. We can watch videos on Facebook. We can communicate like traditional telegram on Facebook Messenger. Right? Facebook has become one channel. Internet has become one channel. Right? And they're building on top of open source protocol. In the future, a digital asset exchange will become a financial platform of the future, where people can fundraise with tokenization. Right? They can go public on digital asset exchange as used to compare to the traditional stock exchange. They can remit their money with cryptocurrency in a frictionless global instant manner, just like what people are using Western Union today, except they don't have to pay 15% fee and they don't have to wait for 2 days for the money to hit the bank, right? People can take out loans because of all the data that are on the platform, right? Digital asset exchange platform. We can release loan instantly and more accurately than banks processing the paperwork. We can exchange money on the digital asset exchange. Once we can tokenize Thai baht to Japanese yen, right? To Thai baht to Chinese yuan. So digital asset exchange will become a universal single channel instead of multiple purpose channel, instead of having different players delivering on one particular channel, like banks, Western Union, money exchanger, right? Traditional stock exchange. And then the government would be regulating on the application layer. So they will be regulating GitHub, for example, right? As a customer front facing part. But then these applications companies, they're building on top of an open source protocol, right? That are free for anyone to build the application on top. It may be a bit technical to answer your question.
Yeah, but it's very interesting.
But it is following a very similar footsteps to the internet space 20 years ago.
Okay, so what about the area of cybersecurity and stuff? I know you will be truly believe in your blockchain and your application and stuff, but is there any things on this cybersecurity that people should be paying attention to when things are tokenized and anyone's going to hack it? Taking into consideration for those laymen, they may not understand the full spectrum of that entire implication, but they know that last year, crypto went through its really big fluctuations. And how trustworthy then it become alternative maybe, to currency that we understand today.
I think we have to separate between security, right? Cybersecurity and like fraud.
The fluctuations and frauds.
Frauds completely, because as we discussed earlier, like criminals, they can use technology in a bad manner.
Yeah.
And it's going to put bad names towards crypto. Right? Just like automobiles in the past, just like telephones in the past.
Right.
So we have to separate between fraud, bad actors, versus cybersecurity. And if you look at the traditional space first, when money is still paper-based, right? The incentives is still visible because the value is in a physical format. So you have to steal the purse, you have to steal the wallet, because the incentives is physical, it's paper-based, right? But once everything has been digitized, has been tokenized, obviously the incentive is going to become like digital, right? All of the bad actors, criminals, security breaches, there'll be no bank robberies because there's no point going to the bank branches. Right? There's no incentive left in a physical world. So bank robberies will be converted to the digital version. So we have to invest a lot, which globally many countries are investing a lot now in cybersecurity, right? Because everything is moving towards digital. Digital economy is getting bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah. So I have another slide up here. It talks about countries' directions right now, right? So you have countries, that is currently still country in orange that have legalized cryptocurrency, basically, in general, and tokenization space. But country in red are countries that are still remaining under illegal state, meaning they do not want to acknowledge cryptocurrency, as they still think that paper, that Top is actually talking about, is still very important, and the banking system should be the only one that was actually under the space. So I wanted to now pose this question to Mr. Wang. I'm going to ask the questions in English. Okay, China digital economy represents, just now we saw one of the slides, China economy, digital economy represents 42.8%, of its total China GDP. That's how big is the digital economy was, based on the result for 2023, which represent, I believe is in renminbi, 53.9 trillion, or was it in US dollars? I think it's renminbi, it's in trillion in value. So that's how big it is. So in China, I was posting these joke questions yesterday as well. I said, if people was asking the questions like, if my mother-in-law and my wife fall into the water, who do you save, right? Those are things that we asked in the past. Right now, it will be in China, maybe if your phone and your wife drop into the water, who do you save? Do you save the phone first or otherwise? Because everything is in the phone. Everything is digital. Everything is numbers. Everything is mathematics, if I use Top's way of doing things. But if you look at the chart just now, can I please have the map back? The orange and red map back. You will realize that, hey, China do not actually believe in the space, should I say, when it comes to crypto. So I'd like to pose the question to Mr. Wang. Since China has not legalized the use of crypto in any way to replace the fiat currency, or even though it already in total e-wallet environment, how China going to stay relevant and competitive when it comes to this sector? When the whole world, the ownership of the crypto, as you can see the slide before, everyone is actually having some form of ownership. Okay. So then how do you stay relevant in the global economy? Right? 王先生，我已经有给您那个华文的那个，好。
中国对于虚拟货币持禁止态度。中国货币当局认为，虚拟货币比如比特币，它有4个特征。第一个，它没有集中的发行机构；第二个，它有数量限制；第三个，它不受地域限制；第四个，它是匿名的，所以它会冲击金融秩序，这是一个。第二个，它会带来更多负面的，比如洗钱，比如欺诈。所以呢，中国呢就在国内，在中国境内，对于提供 比特币的兑换、提供中介咨询以及代币发行，都视为是违反金融秩序。这是一个。第二个，中国允许持有虚拟货币比特币，但是民间的交易是无效的、不合法的。另外，在中国境外为中国境内的公民提供比特币的服务也是非法的。当然，中国呢，在禁止虚拟货币的同时，它稳定自己的金融秩序和外汇制度，所以呢，这个是保障了中国数字经济的一个平稳发展。从今天我们介绍的这5年中国 GDP 的增长，可以证实这一点。此外，中国也在积极的尝试发行数字人民币，也希望快速有效的解决支付问题。以上就是中国目前对虚拟货币以及在数字经济当中的作用。就是这样。
We have a translator.
According to Mr. Wang's opinion, China bans on the virtual currencies. Let's take Bitcoins, for example. Maybe China government has following concerns, or we say reasons. First, the issuing party of in cryptocurrency, or let's say Bitcoins, is not clear and not centralized, and the quantity, the total amount is limited. But there are no limits or restrictions regards to the geographical area where it can be used. And also it is used anonymously. So it has no legal ground to be the legitimate currency to make payment. It is not mandatory. And Mr. Wang emphasizes that exchange and purchase of Bitcoins and other virtual currencies and providing consultancies to such transactions, as well as token issuance and money raising, may constitute crime in China. But China government allowed citizens to hold only, but the transaction is illegal. And China law forbids overseas suppliers or people or organs to provide services to the transactions which would happen domestically, which would happen in China. That kind of act is also illegal. The usage of Bitcoins will bring adverse effect on financial safety and system. And many crimes such as fraud, money laundering, kidnapping are paid by the Bitcoins. So that's the reason, that's the reason that China forbids such currencies. But also China has tried to make effort to develop the digital currency, digital renminbi. And China government hopes that it will help quick and convenient transactions.
Okay, I try my best. Right.